What's going on, world? Good to meet you. My name is Sajin Chabra, and I'm excited to share with you guys. I got started on my YouTube journey with my best friend Antonio, and we're actually also building another channel right now called The Social Intellects, which covers self-help topics and really parodies on those topics because we're both in that industry and we love to make light of ourselves. So we figured we would share that lightness with the world. But just excited to share a little bit of my own personal story on my own personal channel. And these are going to be talking head, one take videos. Nothing overly formal, but I've got a lot of thoughts up here. And I want to share them with the world because I believe they can at least help one person get a new perspective in life or find gratitude or appreciation or mindset in an area and in a unique style of communication that they may not receive elsewhere. So that's really the inspiration here. Just to give you guys some facts on me, I am 29 years old, getting ready to turn 30 on the 4th of July. I just moved to Washington, D.C. I'm originally from North Carolina, was living in Charlotte for 7 years. And I'm currently in sales and I sell retirement plans for a payroll company. So those are the high level facts on me. Of course, I'm more than where I'm from and what I do for work. But just so you guys have some background, and as I continue to speak and share on this channel, you guys will get to know me more. And hopefully there's a community that forms from this and a group of people who are like-minded, who've been impacted or who want to share this video. If me making money and helping people comes through this channel, fantastic. If it's just a diary and a journal for myself and a couple hundred people find it interesting over the course of the channel's history, then that works too, because I hope, again, some of those people are impacted there. But just to get into a topic that I was thinking about today and a little bit about my morning routine, if you care to know, and I'm starting a new morning routine. I love to start the morning with stretching. And so I went down to my apartment gym, nice apartment gym, and was stretching, did a little bit of yoga work, did a little bit of plyometric and isometric work, did a little bit of a dead hang, and then was drinking water that whole time. And when I was on my roof, I was actually just reflecting on having gratitude in your life and why a lot of times, why we don't have gratitude. And this is for any audience, any person listening, but I want to talk to the people who may be in the position in life that I am, who are high achievers, highly motivated, who have some type of track record and credibility in their corporate jobs or in a business, and they just aren't happy with where they're at. And in my opinion, this is going to be a little bit more of a unique take on that. I'm not saying that anybody who is in life where they want to be or not in life where they want to be, that they need to do X or they need to do Y or they need to do Z. I'm not a self-help guru. I'm just a guy who tries to find different perspectives and tries to create a story for my own life that my mind can accept and that I can accept so that I can keep moving and keep making steps forward. I'm a big believer that if you get knocked down 10,000 times, your responsibility is to get up the 10,001st time. That's our responsibility as human beings to the core. And I have great people in my life who are an example of that. Mentors, certainly my mother and my father in their own respects, great friends, people in my life who I've seen example that outside of just myself. And the perspective that I want to share is no matter where you are, how successful or unsuccessful you are, if you're in a relationship or if you're not in a relationship, if you have a great relationship with your family or you have a rocky or okay relationship with your family, any area in your life where there's a gap, where there's a place that you see other people have what you want in life, what I want to share with you is that anywhere you want to be in life that you currently are not in life, maybe something you can do to have gratitude in the moment is take stock of the pros and cons of what it would be like to be in that position. Now, I'm just going to be disclaimer here. Again, I am not any sort of person who's telling you that my way of thinking is right or wrong. I just am sharing a perspective that's helped me. And I want to relate it to money because I think that's a very easy, very comparable, very tangible topic. I don't want to just limit this channel and conversation to money, but I am a highly driven person, and so I think about money a lot, right? I'm going to be very transparent on this channel. I am in sales. Last year in 2024, my W-2 income was $130,000 a year. I turned 29 in July of last year. That was the most amount of money I've ever made in my life. I was at a point where I honestly didn't know what to do with the money because I lived so below my means and had never made that much. It was about a $40,000 income jump from the year 2023. So I was feeling really good about myself. But in the same token, you can also compare. And this is kind of where I'm getting into my topic here. Look, guys, $130,000 a year, that may be a lot to some. That may be more than some families make. I also know there's 21-year-old athletes who make that in a year, or not in a year, I'm sorry, in a week, throwing a football or catching a baseball. So let's take perspective here, right? Not a big shot. My friends and I will laugh that anyone who makes over 100 grand a year, but not 200, you make six figure, not six figures. You have to make multiple of those. So just a funny joke there. But ultimately, you know, at this point in my life, I frankly thought I would be much further along income wise. When I was, since 18, really always had some type of side income, some type of business. Got very committed to an online-based business when I was 22 years old, ultimately stopped doing that at 29 because I wasn't able to produce the results that I was after. But while I was in that community of people, I saw people in their early 20s making a side income of six figures, people who in their late 20s were multimillionaires. And the beautiful thing, the pro about that situation that I was in, is that I was around a lot of people where high level success was the norm. And so that became my expectation. And that's a very healthy thing, is for your expectation to be greater than maybe what the world promotes and maybe what's available in the world. I know this world has a lot of things about it that are great, and there's a lot of things about it that have a lot of improvement, whether you're talking about poverty or broken homes or just people not even being able to support themselves financially. There's a lot of things that are an issue, but when you're in a community of high performers, you may not see that as much, and all you see is what's ahead of you. And I'm rambling a little bit at this point, so I want to be getting to my point as far as what I want to talk about. But in that situation, as good as it was to be around people who were very high achievers, who made multiple six figures a year legitimately, who were in their mid to late 20s, early 30s, I had to, coming out of that situation, realize that is not the world that we live in, generally speaking. And that's not a bad thing. But oftentimes when you're in that situation and maybe you aren't at that place you want to be financially, accomplishment-wise, achievement-wise, you can get down on yourself. You can say, I only make X a year, or all the people that I'm around are in a relationship and I'm still single, or all the people that I'm around have great friendships and I don't really have great friendships, or all the people that I'm around have these great family relationships and I really don't have that. And my message to myself had to become, okay, Sajin, for every perceived pro in your life, or perceived pro in someone else's life, there is always a con. Nobody's life is 100% kosher. Nobody's life is 100% good. And that's not saying that anytime you see someone who has what you want in life, that you should immediately start judging them or finding areas that are weaknesses for them. The point is that for every situation that they have that is good, there is probably another situation that is equally not so good. For every bit of income that they've created, what family situation may they be going through? For how great of a relationship that they have, what type of health challenge may they be going through? For how great of a neighborhood that they live in, what type of situation from a challenging upbringing perspective did they come with? There is no 100% pro or con. And this is something that I want to share with you all because this is how I thought. We always think the grass is greener on the other side. And that is just psychologically, physiologically, maybe physically, in the order of nature, in the order of how God, the universe, the creator, however you want to classify it, came together and put this world together, that will never be the case. And I was thinking to myself on my rooftop this morning about a situation, and it was regarding Bill Gates. And hear me out here, this is a little bit out there. But let's think about this. Let's think about a person like Bill Gates. And I have studied Bill Gates, being very interested in success. I read a great book called The Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, who just gave insight into the preparation that Bill Gates went through in his youth and in his teenage years to then be prepared to start Microsoft when coding started to get big in the 80s. That's besides the point of the story. What I thought about is, where was Bill Gates at where I was at? He had already started Microsoft. He was already a billionaire. He had already had all these trappings and external successes that the world puts on a very high level. And I think social media has elevated this really. I'm not a big social media person. I like YouTube, but I'm not on social media a ton. There's pros and cons to that too. Maybe that's a separate video. But ultimately, this is a person who's in life, and maybe the guys are going to hear me out here more, or maybe the ladies will too. But he's in life where he is the top person income-wise in the United States, if not the world. He's a multi-billionaire. He can have anything or probably anyone that he wants, any lifestyle or any experience that he wants. And he has everything externally that we think we want. And that probably is a good thing, right? Money unlocks freedom. Money gives you a lot of access to things that you otherwise would not have access with money. There's no denying that. But what I think, and what helps me take stock, because I'm getting ready to turn 30 in the next month, is Bill Gates had all this, but what didn't he have? What friendships could he potentially no longer relate to, and potentially no longer maybe have the type of friendship that he did, because he was so far out of reach from where they were in their lives. And so he no longer could relate, so his friendships shifted. What family dynamics may have become strained because now he's the guy with all the money, and people naturally who are around people who have a lot of money, sometimes they start asking for a lot more favors. Sometimes they want to know, hey, can I get a few dollars here or there? Because guess what? I know you have so much money, you can do that. What happens to familial relationships that potentially get affected? What family challenges with health could he have been going through? How much personal stress was he taking on at this time running an ultra successful company, which by all means is a phenomenal thing, and I applaud that, and I want that level of success, or some level of success that's a high level for myself. But what comes with that? That's my message for any amazing, great, high accomplishing thing. And I think people who are trapped in the comparison trap that they've seen through media or through TV or through whatever platform that they get their information through, they see this life that people have, but they don't see the cons. It's a series on Hulu, which I have not watched. I've just seen a trailer for the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. And these are what appear to be very beautiful women who have these great lives. But then in the story, and you could say this for any show, in any reality show, in the story of all their success or all of their trappings in life, they have all these negative things that come with that. And my communication and my message to you, which is the message that Sajin has to himself every day, is take stock of where you're at and find the things that you're grateful for, and find the things that if maybe you were those people that you wanted to be that may not be great in your life, and say, hey, what do I have that they may not have here? And again, that can be a very thin line, right? You don't want to compare and judge and say, well, I have this and they don't have that, but take stock of what the blessings are in your life, given where you're at, and what someone else may not be experiencing, and say, you know what? I'm okay where I'm at. It doesn't mean I'm not going to stop working my butt off. I'm going to keep working forward. I'm going to keep striving towards my goals. I'm going to pick myself up every time I fall. I'm going to reinnovate. I'm going to change. I'm going to make the adjustments I need to in my life to be successful. But ultimately, that has given me peace, that mindset, that perspective. And so that's what I wanted to share with you all. And maybe I should have done a better job sharing it at the beginning versus the end, a little bit of a long build up here. It's like a Quentin Tarantino movie, I guess. But once you get into it, it's really good. So anyways, that is the perspective I've taken, and that has helped me so much. And I'm standing on my rooftop enjoying what is an absolutely phenomenally amazing view. And I'm having a conversation with my best friend Antonio yesterday, who I run our other YouTube channel with, and saying to him, man, I remember with what I pay in rent here, when I was 21 years old, that was my post-tax paycheck. What I paid in rent at my current apartment is when I was 21 years old, what my post-tax paycheck was for the entire month. I'm not a multimillionaire. I'm not a billionaire. I'm not some superstar, but I'm grateful. And that's the message. And I am 100% confident that there is an area in your life that you can be grateful for that someone else does not have, that gives you that will, that story, if you will, that energy, that ammo to fight another day, to go forward. My message is so that you can pick yourself up again, because sometimes we feel so defeated about where we're not that we have a hard time giving ourselves a reason to keep going forward. And that's really deep. And that's pretty heavy, and you could get into that quite a bit, which we won't do in this video, but hopefully it helps. So I'm excited to continue sharing just my mindset, my perspective. I know my communication is going to get better. I know my storytelling is going to get better. I know my language, my words, the way I organize my thoughts is going to get better. But I'm excited for anyone who had an opportunity to listen. And if I'm going to title this message anything, it's why can't you be grateful right now? So thank you guys for listening. Have an awesome day.